Yeah. Woo!
Y'all better be pumped.
Yeah, you talk about the best man. You got two of them right here.
Best man. The better man.
Yeah,
Better man
Drew.
right there.
Whatever. You're Matt McIntyre. We're not buying it. Hi, everybody, and welcome to a hard time having that Dusty Rhodes classic monkey butt ugly wrestling Royal Rumble Tinkles episode. Ooh, I love the Royal Rumble Tinkles episode. Man, it's an episode of us, the Brothers of Discussion. We're going to talk the Wednesday Night Wars. There's a shocker. We're going to talk parody wrestlers. They're back. My God, Gilbert. Where's he been? Matt, Undertaker calling the current roster soft. I hope he excluded Gilbert in that assessment. Matt, we're going to talk Sting. Wrestling again. We're going to have our David moment of the week. And, of course, Alexa Bliss living rent-free in our coconuts. Matt, another hot, spicy week of professional wrestling. How many dreams of Alexa Bliss did you have this week?
I held it to just the one right after Monday. As best I could do. Best I could turn in, boss. Just one hot dream. Okay,
Rookie numbers.
Stop being a pervert.
Rookie numbers. Need some more dreaming out there. All right.
So here's the detail. If you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, we'll have the details in a video. Follow. I'm just kidding. That's not happening. All right. So where do we go from here, Mike? Follow us at BOD Podcast on Twitter. Go to bodpodcast.com and brothersofdiscussion.com to make sure you don't miss a thing. It's where we do some light blogging in regards to each episode, so you can get a little more detail on what we're talking about here. But for everything, follow us on the YouTube channel. We are just the Brothers of Discussion. That's the best way to find us, the easiest way to find us. So come along for the ride. All right, Mike, you ready? We have a lot to talk about today, so let's not waste a moment here, right?
No preamble on this show. Yeah, I don't care how you are. Go to hell. All right.
Let's talk about the biggest news here, Mike. Undertaker is on Joe Rogan today, and here's the quote.
I'm already out that he went on the Joe Rogan show instead of ours, but go ahead.
I'll probably piss a lot of people off, but they need to hear it. All right, Mike, you like pro wrestling, but fuck you. You got to hear this. It's what it is. But to the young guys, he's a bitter old guy. I'm not bitter. I did my time. I'm good. I walked away when I walked away. I just think the product is a little soft. There's guys here and there that have an edge to them, but there's too much pretty and not enough substance, I think, right now. He keeps going on with Joe saying it needs more edge. Of course, just, the buzzwords are flying. There's no real solutions coming out of Undertaker's mouth. Just basically him dancing around the fact that, now they're just boys, but when I was around, men were men. It's such a tired bullshit. I'm so sick of it kind of attitude. You know what, Undertaker? Men were men, but guess what? We can be a little bit softer. We can be a little bit smarter. And fuck. Let's try and bring the how many pro wrestlers have passed from his era, just to kind of bring up the men were men kind of bullshit that he's talking about.
I don't know
how many guys had drug issues. How many guys didn't have access to the right psychological help. Undertaker, I love you, man, for what you did for pro wrestling. This was Mike, this fit perfectly for a Joe Rogan podcast. By the way, a podcast I have yet to listen to, but I'm fully aware of. Go for it.
It's definitely a case of selective perception here, because it's a lot like looking back at the Attitude Era glowingly without noticing, there was 60% of the guys didn't know how to wrestle. Guys were walking in with duffel bags full of cocaine. There was guns and knives and violence, and the boys being boys, they'd be driving car to car in a caravan, pantsing each other and mooning each other. I don't know if Undertaker is bummed that, he doesn't get to see Big E mooning him out the side window. Actually, I think we all are kind of bummed that we don't get to see Big E mooning us. But I one of your go-tos now is the chef's kiss, and of course, one of the guy with the G4 on his trunks, the G4 advertisement, Austin Creed, Xavier Woods came to our rescue and said, "I would be the person reacting to Undertaker. I would be the person that I am without the guidance and lessons of a few key people from the previous generation of wrestling. They taught me about the business, save my money, and then having video games in the locker room is healthier than having redacted." Thank you, guys. So we can say it because, we're not going to bump elbows with any of these guys like he is. But yeah, the duffel bags of cocaine, pants in each other, and guns and knives, I don't think we're missing that much. But I don't know what edge we're talking about, but
if he just means more edge, like fighting Randy Orton,
I do like edge. Fine. Maybe that's what he meant. Yeah, we're on board with that.
He's just happy to see Edge come back. Seth,
a big YouTube fan? Does he want Bono and the Edge to play WrestleMania this year?
Seth, our newest subscriber, we also talk all the time on Twitter. He throws out just to kind of put the cherry on top of our point to the Undertaker. How many guys have lost their brains to CTE? So it's just, oops. Again, that's just piling on top of the Undertaker. Like it's just this tired.
Maybe the other thing too is Undertaker's referencing video games, and he still thinks we're playing, Pac-Man and Centipede. When there's a lot of edge if you're playing, a little Cyberpunk, a little Grand Theft Auto. Maybe we just got to get the old man to see what video games are like now. I think.
Yeah, it's something that everything always looks better when you look back, because you aren't going to remember the boring things, right? This past Monday, I'm like, nobody's jumping out of their pants to say, "Oh my God, what a Monday Night Raw." So let's call it a throwaway Monday Night Raw. On a throwaway Monday Night Raw, we got Ricochet versus AJ Styles. Like in regards to pro wrestling talent, the best we've ever seen. And a guy like The Undertaker, who we respect a ton, really is wrong in this point. Like, it's just wrestling can change. And maybe that's just it. Maybe it's just difference of opinion here, but I think he's got to, I don't know, somebody's got to slap him around, because this isn't good for what the business is trying to do right now, for all the steps it's trying to take to be better. We know that they're not perfect, but we know we've at least seen the steps, if they're for PR or not. If that's where the steps are coming from for public relations purposes, they're still taking the steps. So the last thing they need is an ambassador of pro wrestling. And this goes for AEW, this goes for WWE, anything happening in Japan with New Japan. These companies need these old farts to get on board and talk about how they did things wrong and things can get better. Oh, all right.
I don't know. Do you want to watch, Ilya Dragunov and Walter slap the crap out of each other? Alexa Bliss, what she's doing on Monday Night Raws. Kevin Owens bumping himself into oblivion to get Roman Reigns over. It's just so many examples. There's too many to count. This is such a baseless, complaint. Let's move on. I think it's just kind of disappointing that we heard this from.
Last thought. This is why, if you guys want somebody to follow and listen to, it's Mick Foley. Mick Foley's the guy who says, "What I did was stupid. I hope nobody ever does it again, because I probably cut 10, 15 years off my life." Yeah. Follow Mick Foley. Listen to his words. Seth, thanks for your first comment. I'm happy to have you here. I know we chat all the time on Twitter, so good seeing you. All right, Mike, David Krumholtz. Let's throw this one in there. Finally, personified Drew McIntyre for this past week on Monday Night Raw. It's funny. I watched that segment, and I'm not one that I'm not searching. I guess on Twitter to find if anybody can corroborate where my head's at. So it was just me watching that going, God, that looks just like David Krumholtz the whole time.
I can't believe that's the dude from the Santa Claus.
Yeah. It's Bernard. I think that, so the reason I threw this into the notes is maybe he's just, the way you just put it, oh my gosh, he's the guy from the Santa Claus. Maybe it's just because he's not that big of a celebrity. But I was gonna say, this is the first time like a celebrity or an actor was used in like the right way on pro wrestling, or not the right way. It's one of the many right ways to do it. Where he came in, he goofed it up, he totally had fun. He was proud on Instagram when he threw out there, "Hey, I was on Monday Night Raw." I want to applaud at least the use of someone that I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
And the right way to bring in celebrities to the WWE. Just like completely under the radar. Fighting Gilbert is one fun way to do it. And ultimately, you know, it kind of feels like this watching it over again, it looks like this is just something that's always been a dream of his. I don't know if we can confirm that, but you'd have to be a huge WWE fan to actually accept this. So I have to imagine this is crossing something off his bucket list. And I will throw out there, I know he's had some health issues, so I hope it's not like that connection. But just overall for me, I mean, this is a guy who was in Superbad that was in that room with Michael Cera when he's singing, you know, "Your eyes, they've seen a lot of crying." He's one of the guys in there with Martin Starr and a couple other famous comedic actors. But yeah, that I mean. Freaks and Geeks, he's in there. It's a guy. Come on. All right, that's it. We're done. We're moving on. You're not excited about it like I was.
No. Fosterling is going Drew McIntyre. Yeah, I was a big fan of that too. Matt, this begs the question. Hot take. Do we have the graphic? It's okay if we don't. We can still pussyfoot around. Oh my God, there it is, Matt. All right, one actor. You get to choose. You get to book them. You get to put them on one episode of Monday Night Raw. Who do you put on?
You know who would do really good and like go 1,000% into it is Andy Richter. Can I use Andy Richter? Is that
who I thought you were gonna say?
Is that lowballing? Is that lowballing it too much?
Defend this choice. Where do you get Andy Richter? What do you got? What are you booking for Andy?
All right, Andy Richter would come out in, you know, whatever he needed to. He'd come out in the old wrestling garb. He'd come out with a handlebar mustache if you needed him to. He'd come out with the one caveman strap and have it be like leopard print. But this would be a guy that, you know, he's not going to come out and beat anybody, but he's going to come out and have some fun. And I think he'd be a good tag partner to throw in there. He's got some girth. He can do something. But he's also going to go 100% into it. He's done so many goofy things over his career, especially with Conan, his own foray into television. And he's formerly a stand-up, always been an improv artist. So this would be a guy who would even be able to go toe-to-toe in promos, because he's probably going to make it funnier, one of the funniest things we've seen, and he'd be able to roll something off the top of his head. So I'm probably booking him in something with like I don't know if you want to go heavy into like The Miz, or if it makes more sense to do something with a character who's so serious he couldn't even have fun with the WrestleMania announcement, but go with like Roman Reigns or Paul Heyman. And I know it would get silly, it would get goofy, but I'm a huge fan of that stuff, so I'd be all for it. I mean, I'm sitting here telling you guys I like the McIntyre Krumholtz thing, so let's do the same thing with Andy Richter.
All right, I got two for you. All right, number one, because I think that if we had a teaser, Urkel. I think if we heard that this person was going to be in it, and that's Dolph Lundgren versus Dolph Ziggler. I love it, Craig. Yeah. I think with a level unhitherto, undreamed of, Matt, not since Pat McAfee, if we said Adam Driver was going to appear on an episode of Monday Night Raw, and then he was just bare-chested, just clotheslining Dolph Ziggler, somebody like that, I think it would be terrifying, and he might break somebody's collarbone. But, Matt, my risky option. That's
your risky option. You don't want Kylo Ren coming in and tearing up. You need him to get beat up.
You can't. He's too strong, man. Now we need, like you said, we're bringing in a celebrity to help out somebody who's just really in the doldrums, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who really needs a boost. And who needs a boost more than Mr. Lars Sullivan? All right, so bear with me. Nobody's rooting for Lars Sullivan right now, right? We know, haha, you were in porn, haha. But what if he was managed by his fake porn director, played by Steve Buscemi? He just comes out, takes a draw of a really long French cigarette, and he just helps get this guy over. We double down. We admit he was in porn, and Buscemi is in as the director and producer of the Leviathan Getting It On Again, the new hit movie starring Lars Sullivan. Matt, are you?
Well, I mean, Seth just brought up a good one of Dolph Ziggler versus Dirk Diggler, which the infamous tale of Dolph getting the text of what his name was going to be on television, and that was what he first. That's what he thought when he read it. He thought it said Dirk Diggler, and he was like, "What are you guys doing?" But of course, the Dirk Diggler tale is of another male porn star. So, Mike, I think Seth accidentally brought up a great opponent for Lars Sullivan.
Here we
I think
go,
you
baby.
have Dirk Diggler come out and have him go up against Lars. Couple of male porn stars. Who knows what happens? Make it an Iron Man match. 60 minutes.
Yeah, get some of Big E's baby oil, too. Yeah, I'm all over this match.
The only foreign objects available, baby oil, and holds only. So you have to oil your buddy up and then somehow wrangle him down. And all right, this is getting into different wrong territory.
This is our other podcast, Beating It with the Black Boys. Here we go.
That's right. So, all in good fun there. That was a fun segment. But Mike, WrestleMania is hoping that they're going to have some more fun this year by letting people actually come to the show.
Oh boy! Woo! Matt,
how do you feel about that? Because I saw we have our Facebook group, the live wrestling discussion group on Facebook, the Facebook group on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen.
I think we need a group called On Facebook on Twitter. I think it would be really cool. But go ahead.
Someone brought that up, and your response was a sad-faced emoji. Mike, explain the sad-faced emoji.
I don't know, man. It might be a little soon. The COVID numbers are not going down anytime soon. We're almost at 500,000 deaths at the 1-year anniversary. Maybe a better way to phrase that. There certainly is, but that's what's going on. It doesn't seem like anything's slowing down. We have hockey, we have basketball, we have football. We have college sports, people bumping into each other and spreading it all over the place. And WWE's like, easy peasy. We get live people in the WrestleMania. Sounds good to us. I think the only thing is for WrestleMania, I just, it's an easy no. It's a hard, easy no for me. But man, if you could go to the Royal Rumble in a bubble, I would feel like a piece of crap, but while I was there, counting down for the Fiend coming in at number 30, I don't know.
I know it is one thing.
In the moment, I would feel really good, but before and after, I'd feel really, really. I'd probably feel really sick afterwards, to be honest.
Right. And then if anybody's asking where you're going for the weekend, you're just hush hush. I mean, for two guys that try to go to the Royal Rumble every year. Absolutely. If we heard the Royal Rumble was going to have fans, we're way more excited. But for two guys that have looked at WrestleMania and said, "Oh my God, that looks like a lot of effort," I'm fine holding off until everybody's healthy. But Mike, here's the thing: everybody's glossing over. Last year we got 2 nights of WrestleMania. The announcement said there could be fans for both nights of WrestleMania. Mike. This is what I wanted last year. 2 nights of WrestleMania for the rest of my life. You're making that face. No, this is good. We talked about it last year. Wrestle Kingdom does it, and they make it work. Last year we did it. I mean, it was
yeah, I like the 2 nights. I thought you were pounding on the fact that they're going to have fans both nights.
Oh no, yeah, that's bad.
Okay,
2 nights of WrestleMania, good. Split it up into 2 nights. I like the idea of having double or two different huge main events on either night. And the way that worked out last year, I thought was a ton of fun. And they also shortened the show, so it wasn't something where we had to get started at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and then finish off at sometime at like 1 in the morning. Let's split them both up. Let's keep things, let's keep it short like we have so far the whole year during COVID. We don't need too many segments in the middle. Let's just go match after match. Yeah, I thought this was something that was glossed over, and I thought it was huge news. And I still say, much like Wrestle Kingdom, I think the WWE needs to adopt the whatever happens on night 1 affects night 2 type of match, where they do the double champion sort of turnover. So somebody wins a number 1 contenders match, somebody wins a championship match, and then those two guys. It's a mini tournament of your top 4 superstars. It's a genius idea, and WWE absolutely has to adopt it, because what would that result in, Mike? Well, we're thinking Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns for night 2. I mean, come on. Yeah. That would be amazing. But I mean, yeah, take it away. I don't know if you want to touch on the rest of the WrestleMania.
I don't think anybody. I don't think anyone's complaining about the format. I think it's a lot easier on our schedules instead of the 8-hour marathon that WrestleMania had started to become. And roughly only about. Thank you, Greg, for getting on the Steve Buscemi bandwagon. And then Greg also said, could get Trump with the limited amount of fans. Maybe he'll sabotage The Rock at WrestleMania as payback for endorsing Biden. Greg, I think I was done with Trump, but if that is going to be his last hurrah, I think I can get on board with that. As long as he eats a rock bottom, I'll be good to go. I love your idea, though. But I think WrestleMania 2 days, perfect. Shorten the show, give us a little break day to day. But getting human beings in there. I don't know if we're ready. There's a lot of COVID going out. I don't know if you heard that.
And then real quick, Tampa this year, Dallas the next year, Hollywood / Los Angeles the year after that. Just sort of disappointing from someone that knows that Detroit puts in their bid every year and it just gets ignored. It's just, I think at this point they don't have the capacity to break any records, so they're probably done with Michigan. But Mike, the interesting one is 40, is a lot of people want to see it head on over to the UK. I gotta say, if there's any UK listeners, maybe a Royal Rumble one day, that Mike, we're doing it if it jumps over there. But I don't know if they're ever going to take their biggest show that, and the way that they stomp around beating their chest USA and take it over there, because I think they like giving their adding to the gross domestic product, right? They're adding to the GDP. I think they like that because they know everyone around the world is going to be coming to the US. So it actually might end up being one of the best WrestleManias ever just because of the fans, but I'm guessing that's never going to happen.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I don't think that they want to put it in the UK and watch the UK fans totally annihilate what the US fans think cheering is, because then we'd want to do WrestleMania every year in the UK, and take shoes off for our buddy Zach Gibson, soon to be winner of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. Matt, God, I love that guy. He just needs a better shirt, I think.
So we've got a few more topics in regular old wrestling before we get into the Wednesday Night Wars, Mike.
Do it, buddy.
This is sort of combo here. We've got Randy Orton has a mask, and Mike, we probably saw Alexa Bliss steal the entire show of Monday Night Raw this past week, and look amazing taking down Asuka. Probably the first time we've ever seen Asuka get squashed, and I think collectively as a fan base, for the first time ever, we were all okay with it.
I'm glad that's your first point on this, because Alexa Bliss she's just one of the best actresses we've ever had in WWE, who also wrestles.
She's not long for this wrestling world. I know
she's gonna be a megastar somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess what I was just gonna say is that Asuka, we talk about her it's like we can't say enough good things about her, but she's quickly getting to that spot where, kind of in that John Cena role or like Cody Rhodes, what he's doing over in AEW, where he or she, in this case, Asuka, she is there to help get something over, and it looks more legitimate to see Alexa Bliss, become this, fiendish version of herself. She's not just squashing no-name talent; she's squashing, the best wrestler in WWE, male or female. So it's just, again, as much as I want to credit Alexa, I want to really credit Asuka for kind of being there, to help get this whole storyline over. I think it's that much more interesting to see Asuka part of it.
Yeah, I think the quick reaction from everybody, or the initial instinct, was, why would Asuka ever be scared of Alexa? And that's exactly it. We're picking the wrestler who should feel super confident over anybody, and we're taking cute little Alexa. And I don't mean that to diminish her. I mean that because that's how they build her character. She, tilts her head and tries to look cute. She kicks her feet out and all that fun stuff. So you take cute little Alexa and you scare the crap out of Asuka. I don't know. I think it's perfect booking right now. And I think Alexa's going to turn into like a super duper star. And like I said, the better they book her right now, which is, a little bittersweet, the quicker she's going to go find greener pastures. Because look, we love pro wrestling, but we all know that there's some people who look at it as like, this is my start in the entertainment world, and I'm gonna go get those next jobs, which I 1,000% say go for it, Alexa. But you're right, best actress in the WWE, one of the best we've ever seen, and letting her shine. How many since the show started, we've been talking about casting and how important it is to find the right actor. I sound like Tobias Funke right now. I'm an actor. You need to find, you need to find the right. And when did Tobias ever land a job? Never, because he was a terrible actor. But you got to put these people in those positions to be, successful. And the thing is, Drew McIntyre we've been talking about for a while, who's perfect as a face champion. And Alexa Bliss, the thing is, how we know that she's going to go and do whatever she wants in film or TV is because you can have her do anything, and she's perfect. So the thing of it is, for her to be booked properly or for casting to work, she just needs to be on TV. And the fact that she got 2 fantastic segments this week, and one was, the athletic performative side of it during the match, and then the other was, the actual promo with Asuka, knocking them both out of the park. And really, she's doing 2 sides of a character on either one, and they both work fantastically. I don't know. This is just exciting. It gets me all, revved up for pro wrestling again. It's just one of those things that when it happens, it's just like when we first saw The Fiend, and it was so fresh and crazy, and you see a guy holding a lamp that's his own severed head.
Yeah, I want to throw one thing at you though. When we had the Fiend,
quick, huzzah!
Hey,
Tobias Funke.
Just one item. When Bray Wyatt first debuted as the Fiend and actually had a match, he basically had one mini feud, and then he was immediately thrust into the title picture, and we were all kind of like, "Whoa, that's a little soon. Can we do the revenge tour first?" And then it kind of felt like the booking went a little off the rails. So I guess the only item I want to post to you, Matt, is Alexa Bliss has basically been feuding with one person, Randy Orton, who, is not going to have a co-ed match anytime soon. But now her first feud as Mean Alexa, as Fiend Alexa, is the champ. Why is this different than what they did with Bray Wyatt, where it's not too soon?
I guess, part of it is like saying she's gonna go into the Royal Rumble. Like, we know this, right? Like, we're not getting, nothing's been confirmed for like a Royal Rumble match, right?
Not yet.
Okay, so then, yeah, I mean that's where her at least confirmation so far has just been I'm going into the Royal Rumble, so maybe I'll see you come WrestleMania. So if part of this is like, does Alexa need to be champion? Um, I don't know. It's a little different, right? Like we're always making those parallels with like the Joker and Harley Quinn.
Hmm.
Uh, do we want to take some parallels there and say that there are some elements where Harley Quinn does like to stand out? She does like the pomp and circumstance. She likes the fanfare. She likes the admiration, the accolades that come with victory. I think that adds to part of the Harley Quinn character. Like she does like to show off, and it's about having the pets. It's about having the big old hammer that she's swinging around, and I like to think that maybe her pets, maybe her hyena, maybe her big old hammer would be the women's championship. So I throw that out there, and I that's probably a tough, like, quick. I don't know what do I want to say here. I'm really stretching it to make those connections of those two things, but I think there's more to Harley Quinn to wanting to be champion, that type of character, than there was for the Joker uh, to want to get over on Batman. I think it was always about just wanting to play with Batman. Is that
Okay.
I'm going way too deep into like the philosophy of Joker and Batman for any of this to make sense for pro wrestling. I don't know. Greg's throw it out there. This Alexa Fiend doesn't have a history of beef with Asuka, does she? Um, No, and I think that
Not
that plays into
particularly.
that idea that she's just trying to sell herself for the upcoming Royal Rumble, which is what they kept saying in her promos. So I could be wrong. They could see this as like, oh my god, she's doing such a great job. Let's put her in a championship match, and none of this conversation matters in a week. But
Yeah, I just don't want her to go the same path as Abaddon. You get a match and just kind of woo, just twirl into obscurity. It won't be
right,
like that because Alexa's, she's not as green as Abaddon was. But no, I think it is different because it still seems like her focus is still on her Joker. It's still more on Randy Orton than I would say it is on winning a championship. I think that she wanted to be in the ring with Asuka, but I still think that her main focus is her Joker. So that's
so
why I think it's okay.
we can book it. We can book it right now to where if we go to not the independent Harley Quinn, but stick with the Harley Quinn that is infatuated with the Joker.
Yeah.
They could build some sort of connection where she thinks that she needs this championship to bring him back, or like he's left her and she needs to earn his love back, which is also another element of the Harley Quinn story that got used all the time, that she needed to impress the Joker. So that could be where she needs to impress the Fiend, and that's where she needs to win a championship. Like maybe she's, we all know that in the long run in the Batman comics, the Joker was just using her. He wasn't sitting at home thinking about Harley Quinn. So when she had these thoughts, none of
Right.
that was going on. It was really just all in her head. So that could be the easiest way to put that all together, and that would be pretty fun. That would
I
be quite a psychological roller coaster for us to
I
watch.
do admire your confidence and everybody's historical knowledge in Batman canon, though. I think we
You don't
all
watch
know
the animated
how the
series?
Batman comics went. We all watched the animated series. I think there's no doubting that. Uh, but it's right up there with Dante's Inferno and the Bible. I hats off to me for putting Dante Alighieri before the Bible. But Matt, let's do this.
Wait, oh, quick, real quick. Hats off to you, Mike, for giving hats off to yourself for your own
My
literary.
own literary reference there. Hey, here we go. Okay.
Hey, everybody, I just want to let you know I know what books are.
Hey, let's do this. One of our favorite things, man, as we build up to the Royal Rumble. As fun as the Rumble is, it's also fun to predict. Matt, this week, yet another article's come out and just trying to spoil who the big surprise is this week or this year's Rumble. I don't think we used to give a ton of credence to these until they started to predict just out of left field, like, when Randy Orton won his second one. Ooh, yeah. Real quick, sidetrack here. Greg, in her head, that's perfect. Referencing Alexa Bliss. I see her in Angelica Pickles character mixed with Harley Quinn. Angelica had a lot going on in the dark conspiracies.
That is actually no. Greg, you were nailing it right there. Like if you actually look back on the Rugrats catalog and the types of stories that followed Angelica Pickles, I know it sounds ridiculous because we're talking a Nickelodeon cartoon, but she had some crazy, fucked up stories, like her and the cookies. Where she remember when she jumped into like a vat of soapy water so that she could still consume the last cookie that was available to her, and then she was sick for weeks. Like,
yeah.
She had some pretty dark, fucked up stories. I like where Greg's going with this. I I like this idea, but and all of that comes into those dark psychological issues, and the more parallels we find and see with Alexa Bliss and these other characters that have had like these dark backstories, I think it's better for WWE and it's better for us. We get to see it.
Yeah, I'm pumped to watch Alexa jump into a tub and have some Fiend cookies. I'm all over that. But yeah, Greg, with just a follow-up here, she was bananas, and the babies were in her head. Oh, man! Now we're going on a Reddit rabbit hole here. Woo! Wait, are you doing that conspiracy theory that the babies were all like part of her imagination, and they were just like her doubts and obstacles? Because woo-hoo-hoo! Man, I'm gonna have to redo my Reddit password here.
I think it's Greg means it. I think from like a sporting perspective, like when somebody's in your head. Oh no, Greg says absolutely. He says that the Rugrats were completely a fabrication. I'm wrong. Sorry, Greg.
Oh man, I can't wait to find out Randy Orton is a figment of Alexa's imagination. Woo! I'm buckled in, man.
Greg,
we got to do this.
You were emailing us this week. Let's figure out a Rugrats podcast where we can go episode to episode.
Let's do this, man. It's we're getting close here. My God, we're just like 2 weeks away from the Rumble. The real Royal Rumble is coming. So yeah, the prognosticators are the same people who said Randy Orton was going to win a couple years ago. Batista's going to come out. Oh God, they're dropping the names, man. Are you ready?
Go for it.
I want you to rank these 4 people in order of least likely to most likely to win.
This is my favorite thing you've done that I have to use off the top of my head. Because you always just say, all right, Matt, roster 500 people. Which one, blah, de, blah. And I got to pick one. I love this. Give me 4 guys and I got to rank them. Thank you, God.
I got to start doing those more often. I like when you have to just think on your feet. 1 out of 500. Here we go.
I hate that. Man. I take so many goddamn notes and then you just throw them right in the shredder.
All right, Royal Rumble feelings. All right, this is one of our favorite segments. All right, the leaks are coming in. Matt, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, and The Fiend. I need you to rank those least likely to most likely to win this year's Royal Rumble.
Okay, well, here's the problem. I'm gonna blow this segment because I'm gonna say the names in the exact order that you just said them. But it's least likely to most likely is Cena, Lesnar, Fiend. Out of those 3. I don't know why I thought I was getting a 4th name, but
I do want you to unpack this a little bit and kind of defend the rank, but I asked you who's going to win, and you had that order. Now, least likely to most likely, just of those 3 guys to show up and participate. Is it the same?
Absolutely, it's the same. I don't think John Cena is going to be at the Royal Rumble. I think if he's going to be in WrestleMania, he's John Cena. He doesn't need a Royal Rumble. He's just going to show up. And it's still not in front of fans. Like, if John Cena is going to show up, you want to hear that explosion. Like, right now, if John Cena comes back, there is not a single person booing. When he comes back, it is going to blow the roof off the building. That is the same reason why The Rock isn't going to fight Roman Reigns this year. He said it. He's like, I'm not coming back when there's no fans. You want me there when you can have 100,000 people. Just
Can you imagine being that poor the sound mix guy for WWE when Cena comes out with no fans and you got to hover your finger over the cheer or the boo button? Both. Oh, it's neither. Okay.
That's a good meme, actually, with that the superhero who's trying to hit the right button. No, Lesnar makes sense because I think there'd be a lot of like you get away with it right now. Have Lesnar come back now because you get to throw him out there and you don't have to worry about like a sideways crowd reaction. I mean, we're a year removed from him eliminating half of the Royal Rumble entrants. No problem. And the fans just going nuts and getting him out of here, which of course we all know led to Drew McIntyre having that amazing elimination in an amazing Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year you put Lesnar in the Royal Rumble, you get away with it scot-free. You can do whatever you want this year and you don't have to worry about the fans.
I think just for freshness, for freshness sake, it would be surprising to see Lesnar show up in there because they just did it last year, and like you said, he played such a huge role. He knocked out half the field, and I think if Cena was going to be in it, much in the way that they try to promote, Legend Week, I think they would want to have people tune in and do network subscriptions during COVID while we're stuck at home to watch John Cena return at the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the best payoff would probably be The Fiend. It's just this company has set such a precedent for, their fetishizing of, Lesnar and Cena appearances. That's why I still can't eliminate those two. I think the most exciting person for us, for this show, for probably people who listen to the show, is The Fiend. But based on precedent for this company, probably Lesnar. So I got one more. We're going to do the women's one as well. One of them I kind of had to cheat because it's an NXT call-up. But as far as winning, it's one of these three women. Least likely to most likely. All right, here we go. Trish Stratus. Now, I wasn't going to include this, but I mean, when the Randy Orton pick came out of nowhere, I said, fuck it. It could be Trish. Trish Stratus. Rowdy Ronda Rousey, Matt. Rhea Ripley.
You did it to me again.
Ah! I gotta stir that pot a little more. Yeah.
I mean, like I could have fun here, but it's 1,000%. In order for everybody, just to recap, this is least likely to win, right? To most likely to win.
Yeah.
Trish, Ronda, Rhea Ripley. I just it makes sense to me. Like somehow I want to see Ripley get the Rumble win and have this turn into a long-term story of her battle. She's going to eventually go over Charlotte. But think about, she loses to Charlotte. She kind of tumbles down the roster in NXT, falls off the face of the earth during COVID, and then comes back and starts to build herself up. But now she's got to make that comeback after going down to Raquel. So I like this journey for Rhea. And I think that would be an amazing cap where she's already giving up wins. She's already handing off wins to the likes of Raquel, who, again, if you guys aren't watching NXT, Raquel is I have such a huge crush on her right now. To give the rub to Raquel and to move up to the main roster, I think was inevitable at that point. And I just want to see the story finish with redemption at WrestleMania, because I don't know if saying she's owed it makes sense, but it makes sense from a fan perspective in the story to like let it come full circle and give her that shot where she earns that main event spot at WrestleMania, and then she takes whatever title from whoever. And I think ultimately, with the tag titles, I think a lot of people, you've got the Sean Ross saps out there that say, during a Monday Night Raw, so why again did the tag titles go to Charlotte and Asuka? We're playing you got to watch the story, my man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you got to wait for the story to finish. And I think ultimately we're seeing something where Asuka's, I hate to say, she's probably going to end up losing it to Charlotte, and Charlotte and Rhea Ripley are going to meet at WrestleMania. I love Asuka. Asuka's been given the world. She, I think at this point, is the longest title holder for collective days, especially between the NXT title and then the Raw and SmackDown titles. She's held more gold than anybody. So if she goes down to Charlotte for the story of Rhea Ripley to make her ascension, I'm Mike. I'm fine with it. I gotta throw out there too. I got my boy. I'm sorry. Is that Zildjian like the symbol, like the drum, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
He's also with me on Rhea, so there's that. So thanks, my man. High five.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna take Trish, least likely. Number 2, Rhea, because I don't think this company wants to give the green light to what they're gonna consider a rookie. And number 1, Ronda. Because at some point I think they might want to try and get her involved in WrestleMania. And I think Becky is starting to get to that point where she can return. And I think they might try and have a battle of the moms. So I think we might have a motherfucker match at WrestleMania.
Can I just recap for everyone? Can I just recap for everyone? This means that Mike's picking Ronda to win the Rumble. He also picked Brock Lesnar as Performer of the Year for 2020. And he's picking Lesnar to win everything. And all right, so Mike's just a huge UFC fan. I think, Mike, you've got to go to DraftKings and use the app and use promo code GHC.
Hey, you know what? You don't agree for my beautiful Miro t-shirt, all right? So you can stick it, all right? Best man right there.
No, I want to take the conversation too, because I mentioned last week the WWE does do a pretty good job some years of really pulling away from the guy who's going to win the Rumble. And we just saw, and we didn't mention it yet, but SmackDown was the shit last week. And it involved a second straight week of Daniel Bryan going down to one of our favorite superstars. I think we were talking a little too much about Nakamura last week, Mike, about what it means for him getting that win. Because I think what they're doing right now is giving us this false sense of Daniel Bryan just turning everything over to some of our favorite wrestlers, giving up wins now to Nakamura last week. This week it was Cesaro. Mike, Daniel Bryan's winning this Royal Rumble. I know I've been saying Big E since November, and I'm going to say this will be the year that breaks the streak, because I've said this should be my 4th straight year where I called the Royal Rumble winner in November. I'm not changing that.
You always call the Royal Rumble, like you always call the Rumble winner in like February. Like, man, it's already over. That doesn't count. But yeah, I think one of the smoke screens that this company's done is whoever wins the Rumble has like a cold month, right before the big event at the end of January. So I think Daniel Bryan's a pretty solid pick. I like it. I don't know if that haircut's going to win the Rumble, though, man. I don't think they want that haircut on all the posters for, Road to WrestleMania. I still think that Bobby Lashley's a better pick at this juncture.
Whoa! All right, let's throw in Bobby Lashley for no good reason. You just drop that name in there. We're at 50 minutes now. We still got to do the Wednesday Night Wars, so now we need some context.
All right, we got to get out of this segment, man. We got to get out of this segment. For the next 90 seconds, we're going to be out. All right, so we just did guests who might win. Matt, you got to pick your male and female winner. Matt, your female winner. Go. This year, Rumble. Who you got?
Rhea Ripley.
That's it. No, you don't have to pick out of those 3. You're definitely picking Rhea over the field.
I've been saying Rhea Ripley for weeks. Yeah.
All right, I'm picking Bayley.
Fine.
She's been on a cold streak, Matt. They're gonna let all the 4 horsewomen win. Bayley's my pick. Matt, for the men, who you got?
Cold streaks. Rhea Ripley lost, and now she's been off TV. She's gonna come back at the Rumble. Come on, get your shit together. All right.
Bayley's been doing hello ding dong videos, Matt. She's been ice cold. She needs a Rumble victory real bad right now. Matt, for the men, who you got?
I'm jumping on the Daniel Bryan train.
Oh, Matt's jumping on his own train that he's the conductor of. Doot doot. Matt, I am taking Bob. Don't call me Lashley. Matt, I think that bald, beautiful angel is finally gonna elevate into the heavens. I think this is his year. I think the Hurt Business is gonna main event WrestleMania. I'm very excited. Matt,
all right,
let's move on.
We absolutely have to bring this up. Mike, Sting is going to wrestle at Revolution. I think we can jump into the Wednesday Night Wars after this, but it's been announced. Tag team match. Darby Allin's going to be his tag partner. It's official today. On the day that we got huge news from The Undertaker, Sting comes out and decides decides to give us the better.
Now, in the Undertaker's defense, Sting did wrestle with one of the few guys in AEW with an edge. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Nobody bumps like my boy Darby Allin. I don't know how he survived that match with Brian Cage. That was a borderline assault. That was awful. I don't know how he's not covered in bruises. But yeah, let's get into it.
Brian Cage and Ricky Starks will be the opponents.
All right, I can get on board.
Here's the thing. We said no title matches for Sting. This isn't what he's coming back for. I think we can check that box. And he is going to be the father that Darby never had. We checked that box. I think we nailed it from the first moment we saw Sting, Mike. Everything's being checked here. Box number 3, it's a tag team match. So Sting isn't going to be relied upon like he was in WWE to help get Seth Rollins over or to finish a schmaz ending with the NWO DX baloney.
Question: is Sting wrestling in tights or is he wrestling in jeans?
I think he's only gonna have. You don't want to hear my joke.
Just body paint.
Something about
just body paint. Got it.
Yeah.
Cody Fosterling said Brian Cage is going to destroy Sting. Cody, I got some bad news for you. I think what's going to happen is our beloved Darby Allin is going to get
he's going to get his ass kicked.
He's going to get shredded like the nice meat you find on an Arby's beef and cheddar. I don't think he's going to resemble a human being after that match for all the bumping he's going to do.
He's going to get the win, right? Like, this is for Darby. So I think he's going to get the win, but he's going to take an ass kicking.
Yeah, it's going to be an ass whooping. It's going to be rough. I don't know if Sting's going to take even a back body drop, like Ric Flair in his 70s. Woo! Cody, I hope that Sting's body can take it. I'll say that. I know they had to fuse part of him back together like RoboCop, but yeah, we got to get into the Wednesday Night Wars, man. Without further ado.
It's time for the Wednesday Night Wars.
From August 19th, 2020.
Oh, nobody can see that.
As we do every week, Matt, we do the Wednesday Night Wars. We, I'll say, objectively pick the top 3 moments of each show, and of course, include a dishonorable mention. Matt, looking at the cards for both shows this week, it is really tough to say that the AEW show outdid an episode of NXT with a Dusty Rhodes Classic with a lot of monkey butt ugly wrestling on it.
We had arguments last week with Cody, who was just commenting there. Mike, I'm gonna bring this up. This is our 5th week in a row we're picking NXT over AEW. Maybe 4. But this is
I'm pretty sure it's our 2nd week. But Matt, what is wrestling without a little exaggeration?
You're such a piece of shit. All right, so you're going first then. So we're saying NXT. At this, we're gonna recap at the end. But at this point, from the eyeball test, NXT had the better show. So Mike has to go first. Number 3 segment from AEW. Mike, I can see that you didn't put your numbers on the notes.
Yeah, it was a tough week. It was a tough week this week. I think NXT was definitely the winner. But number 3 was probably Cody versus. We can start typing Cody Rhodes. We got to update our notes. We keep just writing Cody. Like it's 2 months ago. But Cody, go ahead and call me Rhodes. I got the copyright on my own name back. Versus Pretty Peter Avalon. I got some grief for enjoying this match, but Matt, it's one of those things where we talk about one of AEW's strengths. Night of, it's usually pretty good, but then they like getting you excited for the subsequent weeks. They like getting you to tune in and see what's going to happen next. And Cody Rhodes being out there with these guys who are either on the fringe, maybe they're not even official all elite cast members. He just likes getting these guys over. He likes giving them, 15-minute matches where they get to show off their stuff, show off their whole gimmick, and look competent. Like, they can stand toe-to-toe with a guy who created his own wrestling company. So I think that this match is no exception to that. Pretty Pete, had a wonderful storyline finish to his match where he slapped Cody. Cody went to return it, give him a little receipt action. Pretty Pete did not want to sacrifice that pretty face, leaned back, and gave up submission style. So, like the story, like what it says for the future of that company going forward, that Cody's going to, put on good matches with the young guys, the fringe guys. Matt, I'm all over this one. That was my number 3. Matt, moment number 3 for Never Extra Turds NXT. Matt, what was moment number 3? Not my best acronym, but go ahead.
Well, Mike, we can officially say there's a men's Dusty Classic and a women's Dusty Classic.
Yeah, baby.
Started this week. Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro taking down Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. And, of course, Io Shirai getting involved to make sure that the tag team that needed to move forward, because we've got two these Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez were not starving for victories. They're two top stars. Like, regardless of some conversations we've had in the past with some of our podcasting buddies, Toni Storm is a star. I will say that. But we need to build up Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. And they got the victory that they needed. And it was because of some interference from Io Shirai. But I'm fine with that. Move these ladies on. And this is my number 3 because this is the right decision. But Mike, this is absolutely an opportunity for Casey and Caden to show off, like, why do they need this victory? They should be moving on because they have this all-star talent. And I made the I just made the comment. Toni Storm is a star right now in NXT. She's somebody that, they gave a promo to just to say that she was coming over to do some matches. So I think even WWE agrees. But I think we watched two ladies who have a little bit more talent than Toni Storm go over. So go back and watch that match. There were some incredible suplexes to finish this match, which I was a huge fan of.
Did they say, is there a name for that? I don't even know what it was, that finishing maneuver Catanzaro did off the top rope?
I looked it up myself, and it was just a read off of what the combination of moves were. So I don't know if I'm missing it myself. I watch, like I always say, I watch these on mute. So I'm not listening to what the announcers are ever saying. Whatever it was, go back and watch it, because we're putting Toni Storm out, but
because it almost looked like a reverse of Ricochet's move. Like, it almost looked like that, like the 630 senton, but it looked like she did an inverted 630 senton. It was pretty damn impressive. Oh, God.
Like, just to go back to that comment in regards to, like, there are two ladies here that aren't stars yet that needed to be put over in this match, and this is that start. This is that push. And again, this is a push, Mike, into a whole new division for NXT, the women's tag division, which we hope competes with the women's tag titles. This was a great start. I think this was the right choice. You have two ladies that should be single stars, and then boom, what we pushed forward was what could be a whole new tag team to go forward in this tournament and possibly win it. Seth's right there with you. It was the what the fuck finisher, the WTF finisher. Is that what it's called, Seth? Could you confirm that for me in the chat on YouTube there? That's where you're watching it. Yeah, let me know real quick if that is confirmation of the name of that move. But goddamn. All right, Mike. You're
number
2.
Matt, I hate saying this every week, but AEW refuses to give these women in their division a chance, but I'm going to do it. Matt, moment number 2. Penelope Ford and Layla Hirsch. It was not a 12-star classic, or how many stars. I don't know what it was, but they let Penelope Ford go out there, work a little Miz-like heel action. They let Layla go out and work, Matt, dare I say, a little Kurt Angle-esque. If Uncle Kurt ever gets tired of hanging out with Vince McMahon and he needs a little Jabberooski over on TNT, and he needed a little protege, Matt, there is I think she's a 4'10" version of Kurt Angle, and her mat wrestling was ace. She had the roll going. She had that like gator lock going in the start of the match. It was just, and she has these thighs that are like this. They're like these big old just hocks of muscle. And she's taking on Penelope Ford, and Penelope's got to go over because they're trying to get over Sabian and my boy Miro, who brought out his young boy Chucky T to bring the ropes down. I don't know if you saw that, Matt, but the young boy has to wear a tux now and act as a butler for Miro. So yeah, it was a segment that succeeded for me. It had some laughs with young boy. It had Hirsch come out and let her do her stuff. It just bothers me that every week the women's division basically is boiled down to 8 minutes every Wednesday from about 9:26 to about 9:34. It's usually a picture-in-picture, as Jim Ross likes to remind us, and then we get the entrances for the men's main event. It's like clockwork every single week. So with the few minutes these women had to put together something resembling a wrestling match, I want to make sure they get some credit. So, Matt, they are getting slot number 2.
All right, so this might shock a few folks. My number 2, and I'm glad we haven't even mentioned my number 1, but number 2, Mike, the Fight Pit, with one of my favorite wrestlers in NXT, Timothy Thatcher. I'm telling you, Mike, my number 1 is probably a match of the year candidate for me already. With Thatcher and Ciampa, man. I mean, for a guy to own a type of match, like you're talking about, like the Hell in a Cell matches, and there's the Inferno matches type of thing. The casket. I mean, I guess I'm only talking Undertaker matches here. But for a guy to own a match and to have it be the Fight Pit, and to have it be what Thatcher has turned this into, and especially with how this ending worked, where you get the fairy tale ending that rolls into the muffler stretch that gets the victory for Thatcher. It's incredible. I mean, it really is just this showcase. And we've been talking for weeks about Thatcher can take pins because we know that this guy's got it. Like he has that persona that he carries with him where he knows he's better than everyone. And when he goes down, it's just, it feels like he's making a catalog in his head for, all right, the next time I see you, you're fucking done. And I love that aspect of it because he also brought that fire. We talk about acting from Alexa Bliss. We talk about casting from Drew McIntyre, but a guy who needs to find a win, a guy who's looking for revenge over Ciampa, and to see the faces and the intensity that he brought into this match were incredible. And they were so incredible, Mike. It was only my number 2. But I highly, like, this is why this show, when we talk about who won each week, this is why this show won, because this was also an incredible match, main event of the night, and it still wasn't the best match on the card. But like I said, the string of holds that you see in these Fight Pit matches or any Timothy Thatcher match where he really brings out the amateur wrestling style from any of these guys that have any sort of background. It's fantastic to just see it. Timothy Thatcher's involved in a match. You're going to see some combo wrestling. You're going to see some mat wrestling. You're going to see some amateur wrestling in the ring. And they, like, Ciampa really brought it. This is something that we were supposed to see a couple weeks ago, and you could see that these guys were just starving to get at each other. And the best part about this, Ciampa did not need the win. Thatcher did need the win. This is where he starts to elevate into the championship conversation. And Mike, my hope, one day, I'm going to see Dexter Lumis and Timothy Thatcher going for a title.
Oh, going for a title. Yeah. All right, I'm on board, Matt. That brings us to the dishonorable mention of the Wednesday Night Wars, Matt. There's a couple contenders, but only one man could win. Only one man pushing 60. David, how are you doing, sir? We are just getting into the end of the show. Not great timing, Dave, but glad you're here. Always love hearing from you. But yeah, we're just going over the dishonorable mentions here. We're doing AEW first, and Matt, usually this honor goes to Ricky Starks for our Ew David moment of the week, for having the loudest street attire. Matt, somebody else took that crown. This week it was Jake the Snake Roberts. It's not that he had, snakeskin boots or, like snakeskin pants. He had a full body onesie made out of snakeskin. Oh my God. He was glowing with green scales and swirly blacks, and there's a lot going on there for that old dude. And there's a lot of muffin tops coming out of all sorts of different directions, and they're all covered in snakes. So if you've ever wanted a snake muffin, which I think is what I'm going to call Jake the Snake from now on, is Snake Muffin, look no further than yesterday's episode of AEW. But that brings us on to moment number one, to rescue the dishonorable mention, man. It was the Civil War of the Inner Circle, where we had MJF and Jericho battling Santana and Ortiz versus Guevara and Jake Hager. Man, Sammy Hager, I really wanted them to win. Jericho must have called in a favor, because the actual Sammy Hagar actually reached out and said, "Yeah, wrestling. Hope they get it on." What a fanatic that guy is. Couldn't shut him up about wrestling. But this
wait. Pause. What happened? Sammy Hagar, Jericho, what did he do? Like tweet and they posted
No. He had a 3-second live Facebook Live video where he's like, "Sammy and Hagar, I hope those guys, they're gonna kick some war." Yeah.
Oh my God! I can't believe I missed that.
It was humiliating for everybody. Yeah. So
between us, without Sammy Hagar, we wouldn't have the most rough night that we should probably tell one of these days in Las Vegas. Because I drank his tequila, and of course, by the end of the night, you were dragging me back to the hotel room and avoiding police. So, I would say
that was a magical night in our history, man.
Our history with Sammy Hagar is way more palatable and fun, and probably interesting than it sounds like what he did with AEW. But everybody, just comment if you want to hear that story, and we'll set it up for another day.
We'll set it up with wrestling action figures. What happened with our Big Boss Man action figure playing the role of the cop.
We got that'd be fucking great.
But for the AEW Civil War, it's not going to be as interesting as a Big Boss Man toy.
I'll be back in. Mike, you're the Fiend. I'm kidding.
Man,
go ahead.
I want to be one of the Batman. One of your many Batman back there. No, this match just got to show off, the rest of the Inner Circle. Because usually it's just, Jericho being the mouth, MJF being the other mouth, and then the other guys just kind of, being sidekicks, side dishes, they're asparagus and corn, when the other two get to be, flame broiled, fish and a delicious steak. But Sammy and Jake Hager, I think they kind of stole the show. So the only two people I felt kind of bad about were the legitimate tag team who were recruited into the Inner Circle for being a successful tag team. They didn't get as much of a chance to shine as little Sammy and Jake Jack. I refuse to call him just Jake or Jack. He's Jake Jack in my book. Matt, the guy who came out smelling like roses was Sammy, but AEW has got to sell that viewership. They got to win the ratings war, and for that purpose, they gave MJF and Jericho the victory this night.
Mike, hot tag question. How long before Sportskeeda is putting out an article that Santana and Ortiz are upset with their booking and they want out?
I think if you put an ear to the wind, you can hear it being typed as we speak, man. I think it's hot off the presses. Sportskeeda's got it coming right now.
Here it comes. That's more of a shout out to what a bullshit company and blogging.
Yeah, they're terrible. But Matt, did you have an Ew David moment of the week for NXT or?
I gotta say, I'm talking like the new Lions GM here. I don't know if anybody's from Detroit.
Nobody watches Lions, man. Nobody knows that reference. Go ahead.
This is another forced dishonorable mention, and I'm almost hating the name because I can't. Like it's just I get it. Like I get why it happened. It's the worst thing that happened on the show. It's just the one thing. If I have to tell you guys, you can like skip. You can fast forward.
WWE Network subscriber, if I've ever heard one. There isn't really a dishonorable mention. It's just what was the A- of all the A pluses? So I guess I'll have to
exactly. No, and I'm picking this because it did nothing for me. But I get why it happened. But Bronson Reed and Tyler Russ, like you pick, Mike, you got to cheat. Basically, is where I'm coming from here. And you pick just you pick an outfit. You're like, look at Jake the Snake, E-, and I'm gonna pick a segment like we're supposed to do. And I'm telling everybody, go ahead, skip that Bronson Reed and Tyler Russ. That's right, Mike. See the bus coming? Because you're right underneath it. Woo! That's right. You think I just don't listen to you?
I thought I was getting a ride on the road to WrestleMania.
Well, my number one, Mike, if you haven't put it together, for anybody listening.
Is it a Xia Li moment? Because she is wonderful.
No. Lucha House Party versus Imperium, Marcel Bartel, and Fabian Aichner.
Lucha.
I already said it, Mike.
Man.
I'm keeping tabs on this one. I'm going to start keeping track of every time I've said match of the year. I'll come back, and you can kick me if you must. But, Mike.
I will. I'm going to hold you to that.
We're so goddamn good. This is an A+. This is like 5. I don't give a fuck. It was 5 stars. This was the match of the night between both shows. You guys
did you add Dave Meltzer after this match?
What was that?
Did you add Dave Meltzer after this match?
Well, no, he's too busy watching New Japan porn, so I couldn't.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just a fart in the wind to Dave Meltzer. But no, absolutely. Like this was that match of the night. This was the match of the week. Lucha House Party, I tweeted out, like, how long are we going to wait until we start saying these guys are owed some gold? And I tweeted that because I 1,000% knew in my head that Imperium was going to win this match. And Lucha House Party walks away with the victory. And I absolutely think they earned it. I mean, this was false finish after false finish. And not only was it, the tag partner coming in to break up the pin, this is also just straight up kicking out on a 2 3/4 count. I mean, this was something where they sold Lucha House Party needs this win. But to put the capper on, there's something brewing. And Mike, I always say, you can't just have a good wrestling match. You have to push some story forward.
Yes.
Alexander Wolf stood at the top of the ramp? Waiting for Imperium after the match. Basically, he might as well have had a paddle in his hand and just been tapping it, waiting for them to walk up.
Was he going to give them reward spankings or punishment spankings?
Mike, they went down to Lucha House Party. These are punishment spankings. And
oh, no.
That's where I tweeted, can you imagine the spankings that Walter's going to deliver to these two when they get back over to NXT UK? Because I do absolutely think these two are due.
Do you think that Walter would use a paddle or he would knife edge chop their bottoms?
Oh my God, of course it's his hand. He's going to town on those.
9!
You know what? The way that they sell that faction, if they don't have some sort of like the door, like a cameraman sneaks into the door and they see Aichner and Bartel's bare butts and Walter getting ready, and then he turns around and looks, and then the camera backs out of the... Like, you have to book that. Get it. Somebody in creative, anybody who's watching this, send this to creative. That has to be the next thing that they're filming at NXT UK to get eyes on the product. I 1,000% guarantee that would sell. It would be all over YouTube. It would be all over every social media, Twitter and Instagram. It would be hilarious. And, I mean, Mike, we've been saying that, Bartel's like the chicken shit heel. Like, he's the little Weasley guy. Like, that would be perfect for him to have to take that and like mix it into some sort of thank you, may I have another. I
think what you want is you want us to bring back the classic Kai and Tai Val Venus moment, choppy choppy pee 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 with a choppy choppy booty booty.
Yeah,
I'm
I
on
mean,
board.
all right, good. I'm glad you're on board.
Yeah.
Now that my daughter's awake, I think I just woke her up. I can hear her.
Oh, you gonna text her real quick?
Something.
Hey, babe, you awake?
All right, cool. Nope, she's still sleeping. Thank
Okay.
God.
Do they make a
All right.
phone for babies, Matt? Do you text her?
No, she's always got my phone. That's the problem. She steals it from me. Mike, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you, but she's at the point now where she pushes me like to get up off the couch. So if I start like tweeting or doing something, which is why we've been so lax on Twitter recently, she just starts pushing my butt until I get up off the couch, like hands on my legs and butt, and just keeps going. Like trying to get me off the couch so I will come play with her. It's really cute, but just really hurting my social media game. All right, Mike, that's
That'll
pro
conclude
wrestling for the week.
yeah, we did it.
So follow along at BOD Podcast. We do have let's tease it out. We're going to be on the Mr. Warren Hayes show for his Royal Rumble preview. We're going to be recording that Saturday. What month?
The 30th.
January 30th.
Yeah.
And that'll be available for you guys a couple of days for you to watch before the Royal Rumble actually happens. Of course, we're here every Thursday. We're going to try and record around 8 p.m. Anybody who's new, because I actually properly tagged this episode on YouTube, please subscribe. You can see those buttons down in the bottom right-hand corner. We would greatly appreciate it. As you can see, I mean, we want to talk to you guys, so the more comments we get, I think the more fun the show gets. Greg, thank you for knocking it out of the park by reminding us that Alexa Bliss is more than a Harley Quinn. She's also an Angelica. And, for everybody else, follow along at the live wrestling discussion Facebook group. Oh, and we also are hiring. Greg is, I'm throwing this out there. Greg, you were one of the fine folks that emailed us back. Greg, I'm going to give another shout out. He went above and beyond with what I expected from the emails, and look out for probably more Greg in the future. And for everybody else, we are hiring. We want to get some social media folk and bloggers. And just to disappoint anybody that's already sent us some blogs, we don't make money. So we just want you to be a part of the team. Essentially is what we're doing here. We don't have money to give at this point, but we do want you to grow with us. So we're not going to forget you as we continue to grow. But that's what we're looking for right now. And we hope that anybody that's interested will contact us through admin@bodpodcast.com is our email. So if you are interested in that social media position, which would essentially be taking care of live events for Twitter, or if you are interested in putting your thoughts down on the page through our blogging platform, hit us up and we will continue the conversation there. Everybody else, thanks for tuning in. At BOD Podcast on Twitter, at brothers_of_discussion on Instagram. And if you're not there yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where we want everything to happen going forward. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.